So let's talk about treatment of idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura. It was previously called idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura, but nowadays this terminology has been replaced by immune thrombocytopenia, because not every patient has purpura, okay, and not every case is idiopathic. There may be secondary causes, like there may be infections, there may be other lymphoma, leukemia, or maybe due to drugs, SLE causes. So secondary causes are also. So idiopathic is removed and purpura is removed, and only new terminology is immune thrombocytopenia, okay. So let's talk about treatment. So first line treatment is glucocorticoids, since it is cheap, okay, and can be easily administered. And if patient does not respond to glucocorticoid, then IVIG is given. IVIG is used for some patients who do not tolerate glucocorticoid toxicities, or added to glucocorticoid treatment for patients who require more rapid platelet count increase. Platelet count increase, because IVIG acts fast, like in 24 to 48 hours platelet counts increases. That's why it has a fast effect. So it may be added to glucocorticoids if there is need to increase platelet count more rapidly. And IV anti-D immunoglobulin may be effective in patients who have Rh positive blood type and have not had a splenectomy. Okay, spleen is required for its function, that's why. And patient should be Rh positive, then only IV anti-D immunoglobulin is effective, okay. Anti-D immunoglobulin is alternative to conventional IVIG for patients whose RBC are Rh positive, okay. So for patients who require therapy, we suggest glucocorticoid rather than IVIG, because glucocorticoids are easy to administer, lower in cost. IVIG raises platelet counts more rapidly than glucocorticoids. IVIG is therefore often used for patients with active bleeding, patients who need urgent invasive procedures, or patients who experience side effects with glucocorticoids. Okay, I am reiterating those things again and again so that we can remember it, because those are important, okay. IVIG can raise platelet count within 24 to 48 hours in most patients with ITP. This effect is reproducible enough that a platelet count response to IVIG has been used as a diagnostic criteria for ITP, okay. So it is reproducible enough that response to IVIG has been used as a diagnostic criteria for ITP, okay. So this is reproducible enough so that IVIG can be used as a diagnostic criteria for ITP. The effect of IVIG usually persists for 2 to 6 weeks. Thus IVIG is most useful for patients who require a more rapid temporary increase in platelet count, like for urgent in management of bleeding associated with thrombocytopenia, or before an urgent invasive procedures, or those unable to tolerate glucocorticoids, or are waiting for second line therapy, okay. And options to second line therapy include splenectomy, rituximab, and thrombopoietin receptor agonists, okay. For patients who have not had an good platelet count response to glucocorticoids and splenectomy, or who are not candidates or prefer to avoid splenectomy, we suggest rituximab. So first of all, we suggest splenectomy, and if patients cannot undergo splenectomy, who are not candidates for splenectomy, okay, or patient does not respond to splenectomy, then we go for rituximab. And prior to initiating rituximab, we provide immunization and test hepatitis B serology, okay. And one thing I'd like to tell you that we also treat underlying cause of high TB for complete remission. For example, there may be HIV, there may be hepatitis C virus infection. Okay, so we have to treat underlying infections, okay, for complete treatment of ITB.